Hi, welcome to another edition of Italy Vino, where today we're going to be looking at one of the truly great white wines that comes from the Campania region of Italy. Campania is on the shin of the Italian coast, over on the west side. It's centred around Naples, and inland from Naples, maybe 30-40 miles, is where the real key wine growing area of the region is. And this is perhaps the best white wine that comes from this region. It's called Fiano di Avellino, made from the Fiano grape from the province of Avellino, and it's a DOCG wine, attained DOCG status in 2003, and is really one of the hidden jewels in the Italian wine crown. It's a white wine that you will find in wine shops near where you live, but it's perhaps not one of the big mainstream Italian whites, the Soaves, etc., etc., etc. Simply because Campania is, I don't know, it's a bit of a hidden secret for Italians only. It's not a name, it's not a region of Italy that instantly springs to mind when you think about great Italian wine producing regions. And Campania, in fact, not only produces Fiano di Avellino, there's another white as well, Greco di Tufo, which is made quite nearby, which also has DOCG status and is an excellent, excellent white wine. And perhaps the best kept secret of all, a red wine I should say, called Tarazi, which is, well, some connoisseurs would believe that Tarazi is every bit as good as some of the wines made up in Piedmont, the Barolo-based red wines. And these three wines, Fiano di Avellino, Greco di Tufo and Tarazi, are all DOCG wines. And it makes, as I said, Campania a secret well worth discovering. Now, while we give this a little bit of a chance to get some air into it and pour it out, it's one of the things I've noticed while I've been doing these Italy Vino vodcasts is that as regards Italian wine at the moment, you can sort of split winemakers into sort of three very broadly based categories. There are those who use traditional grapes that have always been used, rather like here in Abruzzo, Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. And their aim is to take these locally grown grapes and produce the best wine that it's possible to make from these, which is great. You have another camp, for example, the winemakers up in the northeast of the country, around Alto Adige, Friuli, Veneto, who are making really, really exciting varietal wines using not really traditional Italian grapes, using the likes of, say, Gewürztraminer, Sauvignon Blanc, which aren't native to Italy, but have been really adapted really well to some of the cooler wine growing conditions up in the northeast of Italy, and are producing some piercingly good wines. And then you get a third group who are looking at old heritage varieties of Italian grape that have almost collapsed into extinction, and trying to resurrect these and make good wines. Now, here in Abruzzo we have a perfect example with wine made from the Pecorino grape, which was rescued from extinction back in the mid-1990s. And in Campania, a perfect example is Fiano. Now, Fiano is a grape of incredible antiquity. It was grown in Roman times and has always been renowned for making wonderful wine. But there's a problem. The Fiano is a very small grape. It doesn't produce a lot of juice, and from your vineyard you are not going to get that much wine. So in particularly at the latter half of the 20th century, if you owned a vineyard, you would say, well, why am I growing this kind of grape which gives me tiny, tiny yields? Why don't I rip the lot out and put in grapes that I know are going to give me bigger yields, that I know I'm going to make more money from. And this kind of attitude has now been sort of reined back, and people are saying, well, look, Fiano is a wine that cannot be lost. It makes terrific wine. Instead of ripping out vineyards, let's plant more, so we will get more of this delicious wine. So the Fiano has, if you like, been sort of reined back in from the danger of being lost, and it is now a trademark white wine of the Campania region, and very highly regarded too. It's a white wine, unusually, that you can age quite happily. The Fiano grape has a reputation of being intensely flavoured when young, and then as it gets 2, 3, 4 years past the vintage, of actually developing some very good flavours indeed. Now this is, excuse me, from the 2010 vintage. It's a local co-op wine based on a town called Lapio, which is in the Avellino region, a little bit to the east of the main production area. And it is limpid, and on a beautiful warm day like this, it's utterly splendid. It has a long finish. There is this interesting little theory that some wine tasters have. Okay, it's a given now that more vineyards of Fiano grape are being planted. Where are they being planted? Well, ironically, they're grubbing up in Campania hazelnut groves. They are turning hazelnut groves into vineyards. And you can regard this as fanciful or not, but some reckon that grapes grown in the old hazelnut plantations have a kind of hazelnutty flavour. Now, do I see this, or do I taste it rather? Well, in a word, no, I don't. But some people strongly maintain that Fiano has a nutty finish to it. I'm not getting that, but what I am getting is candied angelica, big angelica root. I'm getting almost a sort of, how can I describe it? A sort of gingerbread sweet spiciness, which is enormously attractive. But nuts, even whole hazelnuts, no, not a trace, I've got to say. But then you can try this and you can see whether you get a hint of hazelnut in your wine. Manufactured, the law, the winemaking law for this particular wine dictates that 85% has to be Fiano, and the rest is allowable other varieties, Greco, Cote de Volpe, bit of Trebbiano, but it's very predominantly Fiano. It'll age after the vintage maybe 5-6 years. As I say, this has got 3 years to it. I'm trying to kid myself that I can smell nuts, but I really can't. Honestly can't. But it's a very Moorish. It's a very Moorish wine, and has, thankfully, so much more character than some of these really mass-produced, mass-sold, absolutely insipid wines. This is, you can get a bottle of Fiano di Avellino, starting really in Italy for about €5-6 a bottle, and heading skywards. it's all going to be good. Some will be better, but you're not going to get a bad bottle. And for that couple of extra euros, the leap in quality is matchless over the boring, tedious, mass-produced stuff that you have forgotten about the minute you've had a sip. This will make a delicious drink, as it's doing now, and I'm sort of being very greedy and sipping this while I chat to you. It's a perfect drink just to sort of enjoy on its own on a lovely warm summer's day. It will go, because there is this sort of, when I say sweet, don't get me the wrong way around, this is not a sweet wine, it's a bone dry wine, but it has a sort of kind of, like I said, that sort of gingerbread spicy finish to it. Working backwards through a meal, it will go well with desserts, not astringent things, but a lovely big bowl of juicy ripe strawberries would go beautifully with this. A cake or a tart, very, very nicely indeed. Working backwards through the meal, at this time of year, there is, late spring, there is a wonderful pasta dish that's sort of predominant pretty much throughout Italy, pasta primavera, which is, generally speaking, using the little farfalle, the little butterfly-shaped pasta, with new little asparagus tips, little sort of bits of new artichoke, shelled broad beans, little baby carrots, served in a sort of very sort of light cream and parmesan sauce. This wine would be just perfect, absolutely perfect, with that sort of creamy based pasta dish. Fish, yes, well, bit of a cliche, isn't it? But dishes that have a sauce to them, be it fish, be it pasta, be it white meat, veal, chicken, this would be an absolutely perfect drink. Not too strong, 12.5 proof, which will, as I say, not give you a headache if you share a bottle on a hot summer's day. This, as I say, is a co-op wine, grown slightly to the east of the very centre of the Fiano di Avellino production region. The brand name Naziria dei Principi. Wine gets rebranded when it gets sold outside Italy. Listen, it gets rebranded when it's sold outside the province in which it's made. Who knows why? It's just part and parcel of wine sales and marketing. You will not find this brand name where you live, but you will find this bottle. And really, I can't do much more than recommend it to you. An excellent summer drinking white wine with a little bit of character, well made, out of the ordinary, and one which will certainly repay searching out and then just paying that extra couple of euros, couple of bucks extra a bottle. Well worthwhile. Fiano di Avellino, marks out of 10. High sevens. Do I give it an 8? Why not? It's such a beautiful day and it's such a nice wine. 8 out of 10. Fiano di Avellino, DOCG. This is the 2010, and you couldn't do much better. Thanks as always for watching. We will see you again very soon. For now though, I will raise a glass of this delicious wine on this beautiful Abruzzo early summer, late spring afternoon, and say we will see you again very soon. For now though, thanks for watching and goodbye.